Was there anything, uh, last week being what it was for you?
Yeah.
Did you hear from friends you hadn't heard from in years? Did people reach out? Was there any sort of ancillary nice part about?
Yeah, no, I heard from a lot of people, especially back home, and people that I grew up with. Just because I think they always know your story, and where you're at, where you're going, what you want to do, those type of things. So that was pretty neat. But it was good to catch up with them.
You downplayed it.
Sure, I think you always do, whether you're calling shots for everything or just in your own special teams world, whatever area you're involved in. I think it's just like a player. You always look at yourself and where can I improve, where can I get better. If this situation comes up, what might I do differently? And then you just kind of go through those steps. So I did that.
You downplayed the experience, obviously, but what was it like for you?
I'm sorry. What? Honestly, I thought really the flow of the game was what it was, and it came easy from that standpoint. I like the fact that I think one thing you always look at is right before halftime. Do you use the timeouts when they had the football? And I'm glad that we did not. You were going to use it, after third down to possibly get the ball back, but I'm glad we didn't use it early to where you're giving them more time because you knew you were getting the ball back. So just kind of reflecting on things like that, I felt good about.
What was the experience like? I mean, you downplayed it last week, but I mean, what would you have said if someone came to you like in 2008 when you were came here as an assistant to Tobe and said, you're going to be head coach of this team one day, at least for one game, I hope?
I honestly, I didn't. I think that's those are. We all have goals, and some people. People have dreams and people have goals, and if you don't have that goal, and then it's just a dream. And I was, I've always shooting for something along those lines, but coach asked me to do a job, and you do the job, and I enjoyed doing it.
Go ahead, Larry. I know we've asked you about DHC a few times, but what does it say about a player who's known, like he's a special teams guy, that's been his MO for 5 years, and now to see what he's been able to do on defense, what does it say about him to reach this point in his career?
I'm excited for him. It says a lot about him. I mean, I've always said he's a true pros pro. I've always said that he's the straw that stirs the drink. And I think that, sometimes people pigeonhole players. You said, well, he's just a special teams player. Now he's doing well on defense. I've always said that he's a good football player, and I think that's the stigma that he wants and deserves. I mean, he's a player that I just saw him as I came down here. He was already. We're going to walkthrough, but he's already getting taped up because once walkthrough ends, he comes in, grabs a quick bite to eat, and then he's back out on the field a half hour before anybody else is working on his craft of tackling and just doing other things. He has a routine that he goes through. So for him to be where he's at and how he's improving, that doesn't shock me one bit.
I know, like you were just in the moment and trying to do the job that you needed to do last week, but was it all in the back of your mind that at some point a GM or an owner would use this game to evaluate you as potential head coach?
That would be great, but I didn't think of it like that. I thought of, you have a job to do, and I just believe if you do your job well, that can always set you up for other things. I think I don't really worry about stuff down the line. I worry about I know it's very cliche, but I worry about now because that's all I can control. And I always think that if you go through the process, and I was going through the process, I just added a little bit more last week, but if you go through the process, you will set yourself up to be successful or give yourself a chance to be successful.
I forget which end it is, but one end at Heinz Field is particularly treacherous, right?
Yeah, the open end. I mean, it's a great stadium. It's a great venue, but it's also a tough place to kick.
Is that something that you guys talk about? I imagine, you live at Soldier Field every week, and I assume you've seen the effect, maybe mentally, it has on other people coming in here.
Yeah.
How do you worry about it? So is there a fine line between you acknowledge it, but you don't dwell on it?
I think so. I think that, like when I watch guys warm up at Soldier Field, I can see some overthinking taking place. Cairo and I have visited about how many times he's been at Heinz Field and how many times I've been there, and you just I think it's actually going to be a nice night. It's supposed to be about 62 during the day and then get down in the 40s, but it doesn't say that right now, it could change, but the wind's not supposed to be really bad. But it is a tough place to kick, and you just gotta play the conditions.
Does the wind in the open end typically go one way, or does it swirl? What's and
I've been there a bunch. My recollection is I've just always kind of played it what it is on that day, and it seems to kind of stay consistent. At least the times that I've been there, I think the one thing that Soldier Field trained you, because in pregame last week the wind was going one way, and then by the end of the game it was going another way, and you just kind of, you're on the sidelines. You're going, hey, I think she just changed, and then you got to adapt and make adjustments.
Is there any sort of wind meter monitor that you guys have access to, or do you just look at the flag at the top and?
Sometimes you look at flags. The way sometimes in a lot of stadiums, the way they blow isn't actually the way it is down on the field. It might be coming in that way, then it's banking off of the stands there, and then it's going the other way to where you're actually really kicking the ball. So there are some things down at Soldier Field, but I'd like to kind of keep them private if I could.
Was the extra point? I'm sorry, Larry. Was it in the extra point? Was it what you suspected, which was a little high and it got in the jet stream a little bit?
I thought so, and then they before during the I think there was an injury on that play, so there was a little longer delay, and they were patching up. There was a little divot there. We were trying to patch up the divot and just kind of sunk a little bit. His foot got a little stuck there. Keeps his leg open. That's why she also went a little right. But Sly missed both of his right down there too. So it was, I guess, all consistent misses.
So special teams coaches, to me, are the only assistant that deals with guys on both sides of the ball. But yet special teams coaches rarely get the head coaching jobs. Although when they do, they seem to be pretty successful. Harbaugh, Ditka, I think Belichick was.
Belichick was. There was a guy by the name of George Allen.
Why, even Harbaugh, to get the job, I think he started coaching one side of the ball. Why do you think that is? And give me a reason, not necessarily just for you, but just give me a reason why more special teams coaches should become head coaches.
I don't know what the reasoning is on all of that. I mean, I'm not in the hiring process. I think there's a lot of good football coaches, regardless what position, whether they're coordinators or not coordinators, can be head coaches. Just in our area, we know we deal with the whole team all the time, have team meetings. It's easy for us to be up in front of a room. I think probably that where people always have the tough decision is when they get you in front of that podium on the first time. Will the fan base accept that? And I think that's probably, someone's going to have to. The Ravens, they said we're willing to do that, and it's worked out really well. And I just think it's just something that hopefully things will change and people in our community will get interviews and opportunities.
Coach, you had some big losses from your unit last year, especially like Gunner, and you can see the effects in the kick coverage so far this season. Is that something you can overcome schematically, or is it just about the guys doing it, or what would you point to? I mean, is it just you lose the guys that you lost? I mean, you lost some really good guys. Is there a way to overcome that schematically, or is it?
We're trying. We're trying, and we know we're definitely not even close. I mean, right now we're about 33rd in the league out of 32 teams. So we got to get better in that area, and we're working hard. I got a lot of faith in our guys that we can get that done. And as the challenges, we'll have a tough time. This returner, Ray McLeod, is a really good football player. And so it'll be another challenge for us. We can't dwell on that's what happened in the past. We need to fix it, move on, and then just kind of keep chopping wood and make things come up the Bears' way.
I was going to ask you good.
Is that something that you are aware of in the off season? Like, in the off season, are you like, oh, this may be an issue? Are you confident going into it and just kind of find out?
No, I think our job as a coach is to develop players and continue to get them better, and that's what we have some guys that aren't as experienced, but I do see them getting better. I know that it hasn't translated into the results that we wanted at this moment, but I'm seeing them do things that as we kind of keep working down the line here, I think we're going to begin to see the labor of our work begin to pay dividends for us. So I'm confident in that.
What makes McLeod special?
He hits all field zones. He can run around the corner. He can take it vertical. He can make you miss. He has great short area quickness. He's a good catcher. I mean, he's a good football player. So we'll have our hands full.